The US team gathered for a huddle by captain Jozy Altidore. Brad Guzan with his back to us. In goal, of course, for the absent Tim Howard, who made such an impression during the World Cup in Brazil. And Guzan's opposite number, an absolute hero in this country, Petr Cech. We chatted yesterday to Pavel Vrba in his press conference. He was asked about Cech and the problem with him being number 2 and being benched for Chelsea. He said even if he sits for 2 years, it won't be a problem. Well, the last cycle ended in the Arena Fonte Nova in Salvador, Brazil, with that agonising extra-time defeat to Belgium at the World Cup. And so a new one begins here at the Generali Arena in Prague, the Czech Republic. We've got our first offside. Mate Vydra is flagged for the Czech Republic. It's the first time for the US on Czech soil, and the US have an exceptionally busy 4 years ahead. Shot there of Pavel Vrba, the Czech coach, seeking his first victory, and this is 4th game. For the US, there's the Gold Cup, the Copa America, the Olympic Games, a possible Confederations Cup, culminating, they hope, in the World Cup in Russia 2018, where Jürgen Klinsmann has told us they must aim for the semi-finals. First attack here for the United States. Timmy Chandler plays a nice-looking ball in towards the feet of Joe Corona, with the ball through with Petr Cech in all orange tonight. And for the first time tonight, the former Liverpool and Republic of Ireland defender Jim Beglin. Good evening, Jim.
Hi, Arlo. Yeah, I think just we saw the run of Joe Corona there. I think you're going to see a lot of flexibility in central midfield. There's nobody required to stick to a particular position. So Diskerud, Corona and Bedoya will all swap places at times. Just got to communicate, though, to make sure they keep the shape in there at times too when the ball is with the opposition.
Foul on Vydra by Brooks, who announced himself onto the world scene with an 86th minute winner against Ghana, of course, in the World Cup. What a memorable moment that was. Rosicki of Arsenal over the free kick, swings it in. And he'll have the throw in as well. Kadlec. Plays his club football in Turkey for Fenerbahce. Altidore in pursuit, so to Bedoya. Here's Prohaska, the centre-back. Rosicki drops deep to receive the ball. And they've won it back here, the United States. Excellent work by Julian Green. He's on the scamper to get on the end of this ball from Bedoya. And it's a poor ball out by the Czech Republic as well. And the United States working very hard to gain possession in these early stages, but Rosicki calms things down somewhat for the home side. And a little arm outstretched into the back of the defender, Pavel Kaderabek.
Yeah, well, initially there it was very well won by Julian Green, and it's certainly a foul from Jozy Altidore, just a little too robust in the end. And Jürgen Klinsmann mentioned that to us today, Arlo. It's not all about playing pretty football. He wants to see an aggression, and we just got a glimpse of that from Green.
He pointed to Diskerud and Corona in particular, Jim, didn't he?
Yeah.
He used the words physicality and bite.
Yeah.
Time for them to raise the stakes at this level. Good passes of the ball, good technicians.
That's it, exactly. So you need to see the other side of their game too, the ugly side. And as long as the aggression is controlled, you know, putting a foot in now and again is never any harm.
Prohaska. Here's Kadlec. This is a big friendly for the Czech Republic. Their qualification campaign for the next European Championship starts in this stadium next Tuesday. What a test for them. Holland first up at home. Could only be more tough, I suppose, if it was away from home.
And that's why really for the Czechs tonight, this is too important. This is not really a friendly. They've got to treat this almost like a qualifier, because they need to go about their business with a real conviction, because as you say, the Dutch await next Tuesday.
Guzan fires it into Brooks. Uses his body to see off the challenge. Here's Chandler looking for Altidore. Julian Green will continue the pursuit, and Czech has to keep that ball in play. Space here for Vydra. That's his game. And he drops it off for Pilaš. Pilaš gets it back. It's a poor clearance. The Victoria Pilsen player. Here's Vidra again, who plays his club football for Watford in the English Championship Division 2. Cross from Kaderabek is a good one to the back post. Johnson had to be alert and concedes the game's first corner.
Well, continuing where he left off at the World Cup, had a very good time of it in Brazil, Fabian Johnson, and it was very well worked and a good delivery far post from Kaderabek.
So a first set piece here for the United States to negotiate. 5 Czech players in the penalty area. The cross comes over. I think that came off a Czech player last, and Diskerud hooks the ball clear, looking for the run of the debutant Joe Zhao. What a big night for him. 21 years of age, born in Silver Spring, Maryland. He plays his football for Borussia Dortmund 2, the second team there, coached by David Wagner, a former US international. His father, Philip, was a US international. He's now head coach at Howard University in Washington, D.C. In fact, his grandfather played international football for Ghana as well, so it's very much in the blood in the Zhao family. He joins a list, and we were talking to US Soccer about this earlier on. Remember Harry Keogh, who played for the USA in that famous World Cup win against England in Belo Horizonte? His son Ty Keogh played, and of course Tim Twellman and Taylor Twellman, father and son combos to represent the United States. Excellent run being made down the centre by Bedoya. Brooks decided to go short to Diskerud. He's got it back here, the big defender. Diskerud again. Orozco finds Bedoya, who's been lively in the early stages. Altidore. Johnson, using that pace, slides it towards the penalty area. The run was being made by Altidore on the edge. Rosicki for the Czech Republic. Diskerud, good energy from him, but the foul, I think, has been assessed on Fabian Johnson there. Free kick to the Czech Republic.
Yeah, well, you would have thought Rosicki would be one of the big danger men for the Czech Republic, because he's just playing behind Vidra, who's the centre forward, so he's got that freedom to drift, to play by instinct, and picking him up won't always be easy. It's quite elusive.
Flag up on the near side. It was a lovely crossfield ball sprayed by Václav Prohaska.
Yeah, fractional, that's all. Very, very tight. And I think Josie Altidore has kind of got a problem with that, because a couple of times now the centre-backs have looked to play a diagonal ball, and he can't do all the work, Josie Altidore. He can't get there, so he might require a little bit of pressing from deeper.
Good movement here from Julian Green. He's found well by Brooks. Green with a nice move, and this is first start. Bedoya scampering away into the penalty area goes. Zhao is there, so too Altidore. Timmy Chandler with the challenge. Corona trying to bring the ball under control, but it's Pilaš who defends. Vidra surrounded by 3 white shirts. Heavy challenge comes in from Orozco. That's some of the physicality that Jurgen Klinsmann was looking for. Michael Orozco, who narrowly missed the World Cup final squad, as we were chatting away to Diskerud was in there as well, wasn't he? Chatting away to Jurgen Klinsmann earlier on. Had a hamstring injury at the worst time, 5 weeks or so before the preliminary squad was announced. Once ball inside looking for Kaderabek, but Timmy Chandler ushers the ball towards the byline and then in the end draws the foul.
Well, he's very adventurous, the right back for the Czechs, Kaderabek, because that's a couple of times now he's ended up in this position, but I thought Chandler did very well. Just got his frame in the way and said, go on, touch me and I can go to ground. I just think, though, just looking at it already, Arlo, and Jurgen Klinsmann might have an eye on it, that they're looking to get Prohaska free all the time, and he's the distributor from the back. So I think the US are going to have to just get wise to that and get a little tighter to him, because he's the one releasing it forward.
Forward from Brooks. Bedoya finds Johnson. Zhao sprinting ahead of him. Now comes a little shorter Joe Zhao. Here he is again. Confidence from Brooks to step forward into midfield and point to exactly where he wanted it from Bedoya. He might have a go here. He does. Just slices it somewhat off his left foot.
Yeah, for me, he didn't seem to strike it, John Brooks, with great intent. It's like as if he didn't really believe in himself there, that he was going to be able to produce something on target. It's been a good early start for Joe Zhao, and his first touch was excellent, and it's not a case of just getting through things. But Petr Cech, disappointment at Chelsea, but he's a great pro. I mean, it'll be very interesting to see how he reacts to it, though, Arlo, because I mean, maybe in 6 months' time he might just get fed up of life on the bench if Courtois, not that we wish him injured, but if he does suffer an injury and Cech doesn't get a chance to get back in.
Or a red card. I mean, it's a meritocracy, according to Jose Mourinho. If Petr Cech were to get an opportunity, he might be able to keep his place. He did tweet on Monday when the transfer window or the deadline passed. He said, blue is the colour, it hasn't changed. Bright orange appears to be the colour tonight, though, Jim. With that telltale headset of his as well.
He's noticeable. And here's that man Prohaska again, coming out with the ball.
First time ball by Kaderabek. Looking for Pilash. Of the other youngsters tonight to look out for, perhaps, Cody Cropper, the Southampton goalkeeper, as Pavel Verba looks on. Only his 4th game as the Czech coach. Guzan, that's a little bit dangerous. Bedoya flicked it out towards Orozco. He was under some pressure from Derrida. And here's Bedoya again. Overhits it to Chandler. Untidy little passage of play from the United States. But Cody Cropper, the Southampton goalkeeper, hasn't dressed tonight. Greg Garza, a left back from Club Tijuana. Emerson Heinemann, a central midfielder, 18 years of age, who started the last couple of games in the Championship in England with Fulham. Jordan Morris, who is a sophomore at Stanford University, also on the books or the academy of the Seattle Sounders Football Club in Major League Soccer. And Rubio Rubin, a forward from Utrecht who played in the Eredivisie at the weekend. Young talent from various different upbringings and nations, but united in one cause, and it just shows that the talent is out there, which has emboldened Jurgen Klinsmann to declare that the semi-finals are the aim in Russia 2018. He said Brazil was a success because we got out of the group of death. We should have gone further than the round of 16. There was frustration, obviously, at that loss to Belgium. Bedoya finds Diskerud. Here's Orozco. Green is under this, so too Kaderabek. And he was just a little overzealous there, Kaderabek. He's got a tremendous height advantage over Julian Green.
Yeah, didn't need to make contact the full-back either, because in his own half, Julian Green, there was no real threat.
Orozco. Brooks. That's the challenge of Vidra. Gives the ball away. Altidore has it back. Bedoya. Sprinting ahead of him is Green. That opens some space up for Timmy Chandler. Has to check back. Still Chandler. Pilash is chasing him. He gets a decent ball into the near post. Easy in the end for Petr Cech. Good work from Chandler on the left-hand side.
It was, and the bonus for Timmy Chandler is that he can operate with both feet. He's quite tidy on either side, so he can always switch to his left, whip one over.
He had an off-season move, Timmy Chandler, to his hometown club Eintracht Frankfurt. His club of last season, Nuremberg, were relegated out of the Bundesliga.
I just think as well, just watching the Czechs when the USA are in possession, they're affording every respect because they've got kind of balance issues. They're very attack-minded. The coach has got a very attacking philosophy, very offensive. But they've conceded 2 goals in each of their last 3 games, Arlo, and he's yet to get his first win. So they could really do with a clean sheet tonight.
That ball will spin awkwardly, but it won't go for a corner. It's a throw-in to the Czechs, conceded by Brooks. Defeats to Austria, or a defeat to Austria, draws with Norway and Finland in the opening 3 matches under Verber. Deep cross comes in, a couple of red shirts waiting. Zhao didn't deal with that effectively, but then some good defending from Orozco. Johnson gets his head up. Krejci. He found Juracek, and here's Rosicki. Darida. 2 US players go sliding in. It's an effective challenge in the end. And the action livening up with another sliding challenge, a successful one for Rosicki. Into the edge of the penalty area. Darida. Kaderabak. He drops it back for Pilash. Rosicki again. Pilash continues his run.
Yeah, got a good ball. And already, I think, a little frustration amongst Czech ranks. I mean, you can see it on his face then. But even Krejci, who's playing from the left-hand side, he came into the penalty box very, very early. And it's like as if he's not seeing enough of it and wants a bit more.
Brad Guzan will turn 30 next Tuesday. I'm not sure that goalkeepers endure the same panic reaching that milestone that an outfield player. They're like fine wines, Jim, aren't they? They get better with age.
Absolutely.
It's a whippersnapper for a goalkeeper.
He is. He's just a baby.
Conceded his first Premier League goal against Hull on Sunday, 254 minutes into the season. Here's Brooks. Altidore. Gives it. No, he doesn't give it away. Zhao into the area, right foot drive, straight at Czech.
I like
a promising moment from Joe Zhao, the debutant.
I like what he's doing so far. It's good strength again, able to hold off Juracek and get the shot away. Okay, it's not the strongest he's ever hit, but he's got something on target. And you know that because of the way he's built, he's quite squat, strong. He's not going to be knocked off it very easily. Joe Zhao, always a bonus plus.
He impressed enough, Jim, as Jurgen Klinsmann was telling us today, in the Borussia Dortmund system, that he was promoted into the first team squad, to Klopp's squad for pre-season, and they had a good look at him. They rate him very highly. Green inside looking for Corona. Juracek with the challenge, whose wife had a baby in Hamburg 2 nights ago, so he arrived with the Czech squad yesterday.
Yeah, congratulations to him. But it's nice to see Joe Zhao, as Klinsmann had asked this place, go and express themselves. I mean, making your debut, Arlo, sometimes it can be, well, I don't want to make a mistake, and you think about things a little too much. But he seems to be heeding his manager's instruction. See, and there he goes again. Krejci has come in from the left-hand side. He's almost just got right on top of Vidra. And I think he's just a little frustrated that he can't get involved in the game, that he's not seeing enough of the ball.
Johnson with the throw then. The chance of USA can be heard away to our left-hand side. Pilash spins away from Diskerud. That's an excellent ball through for Limberski. Vidra making a run on the back post. Excellent challenge by Brooks. It had to be. Vidra was lurking with an empty net in front of him. The most dangerous moments of the match so far from the Czech Republic. Here's Altidore for the United States. Holding the ball up very well indeed. Gets it back from Diskerud. Now Corona. Green. He'll have a go. Low, skips off the turf and into the welcoming arms of Petr Cech. The action just livening up over the last couple of minutes or so, approaching the 20-minute mark here in the Generali Arena in Prague. The first time the United States have played on Czech soil. Goalless so far in this international friendly on NBCSN. Arlo Whiten, the former Republic of Ireland and Liverpool defender Jim Beglin with you. Rosicki. Kaderabek. Well, actually, it was almost too good for both of them, that ball. Pilash on the right-hand side as well. But here's the move that almost led to an opening goal. Yeah, listen, I think it was very well played by Pilash wide. Krejci got his head up, looked to see who he could pick out. But John Brooks has read it so well. Those telescopic legs he's got did the trick. There is Krejci. He's played for the Czech Republic throughout the age groups. Plays for Sparta Prague, so he's familiar with the wings at this stadium. Sparta, one of the most dominant clubs in this country. The Maroons, they won the league and cup double last season. 33 times champions of the Czech Republic and previously Czechoslovakia. Here's Juracek. Yeah, and Joe Corona on that occasion stopped the centre-back Prohaska from wandering up the field and playing another ball in an advanced position. Juracek's got a problem out of shot at the moment. He may, yeah, there he is, number 19 on the left. He was grabbing the upper part of his left leg. And there he goes again. He'll be a teammate of Julian Green this season at Hamburg. Johnson. Zhao. Plenty of white shirts forward here for the United States. Zhao gets the cross in and it's straight at Petr Cech. But he forced the left-sided midfielder, Ladislav Krejci, back to defend. Free kick to the home side for the foul on Václav Pilaš. Yeah, the referee is just going to have a little chat with Diskerud, but he's going to excuse him a yellow card on this occasion. He's been a bit lenient there. Is that because it's a friendly, Jim? I think because it's a friendly, he's done exactly that. I think, yeah, had it been a competitive game, I think Diskerud would probably be in the book. István Vad is our referee tonight from Hungary. Took charge of the US the last time they appeared on the NBC Sports Network, which was in Vienna against Austria last November. Here's Diskerud. Zhao. Now Johnson. Disappointingly for him, got injured in that round of 16 game against Belgium. He made way for DeAndre Yedlin. What a prospect he is from the Seattle Sounders. Recently signed for Tottenham Hotspur in the Premier League, but remains a Sounder for the time being. Green. Diskerud. Johnson's available on the right-hand side in plenty of space. We'll have a go in here at Limberski. Low cross comes in, it's very promising. Corona on the right foot. Just a slightly heavy first touch, which limited his options. Yeah, and Limberski was careful because he knew if Corona got there first, he couldn't afford to dangle a leg. Otherwise, there's a penalty going to be given away, and Juracek is carrying on, but not 100%, I don't think, still. There he goes, he's stretching again now as we talk, Arlo, Juracek, so he seems to have some sort of a strain. Petr Cech earning his 108th cap tonight. Rosicki under this one. Referee allows play to go on. John Brooks felt he was fouled. Pilaš finds Derrida. Juracek now sprinting forward. Looks to have recovered. Krejci to the byline, but followed very well by Fabian Johnson, and it's a goal kick. Well, I can tell you as an ex-fullback, it's always a joy when you get a little ricochet like that and it ends up your decision. It looked as if Krejci was away from him at one stage, but very well tackled from Johnson, timed it perfectly, and
and got the goal kick.
Another German-American that was on the move in the Bundesliga during the off-season. He joined Borussia Mönchengladbach from Hoffenheim. There have been reports, and I stress just reports, of interest from Barcelona during the transfer window. Nothing came of that. Here's Rosicky. But reports in the football world when it comes to transfers and facts are two entirely different things. Pilash, room to manoeuvre and shoot, and Braguzan not really tested that time. He didn't catch it, Pilash, but Jurgen Klinsmann just a little bit concerned with how the defence just dropped off there.
Yeah, the problem for Pilash is he's coming inside on his weaker left, and okay, it's not the worst strike we've ever seen, but he's not going to generate enough power to be able to really trouble Braguzan, and it's a comfortable save. We usually see Pilash operate from the other wing and come in on his stronger right foot. Maybe that could be an option they'll take, swapping the two wide men.
Chandler's taken a blow to the head here. Diskerud was slow to his feet as well, the Rosenborg man. Chandler back on his feet, but he is clutching his head.
Yeah, it's a shoulder from Pilash as he jumped, and to be honest, Pilash had eyes for the ball only. I don't think there was any menace in that challenge.
Jozy Altidore playing the captain's role, just having a word with the referee. The US will sportingly play it back to Petr Cech. And on we go. Here's Jiricek.
And here's the man they like to get on it once more.
Prohaska. He has played for the national team in the holding midfield role as well. In a World Cup qualifier most recently in Turin against Italy last September. Italy won 2-1. Mario Balotelli got the winner, but Prohaska's role that night, mainly defensively, but he has that passing range to hold his own in the centre of the park. Here he is again. Sprays it out to Limberski, the fullback forward down the left-hand side, and he fouls Johnson, and the United States can bring it clear once again.
It was a lovely diagonal to find Limberski, just a loose touch. He needed to keep it closer to his body because he just invited Johnson to get in the mix.
He has experience of playing against the US. David Limberski played in the friendly before the 2010 World Cup finals in East Hartford. A 4-2 victory for the Czechs, whose record against the United States is very good, as the Czech Republic, they met in the 2006 World Cup as Zhao was in hot pursuit. And the ball cleared by Petr Cech under pressure. And it was the 3-0 defeat in Gelsenkirchen during that World Cup. Then that friendly in 2010. The United States did face Czechoslovakia in 1990 in the Stadio Olimpico in Rome, and a crushing 5-1 defeat that time. So they drew a victory over the Czechs in whatever guise. Prohaska again.
Yeah, and Vidra's upset because he tried to kind of bend his run to stay onside, and he wanted it more direct from the centre-back, and it didn't arrive, and he's just let him know.
Rosicky. Pederer spins away from Chandler, but the ball spins away from him and out for a goal kick.
I just mentioned about the central three for the US tonight, earlier on, Diskerud, Corona and Bedoya, and how it might work defensively. And I think largely they've coped very well. They've filled in for one another. There's lots of communication. And apart from that one time when Pilash got in space, which that man Pavel Verba would have been pleased about, and fed it right to or left to Krejci, and a good ball came in that Brooks dealt with. But that's the only real time that the Czechs have got some comfort and some time on the ball in that area.
Zhao drops it off to Johnson, speeding away. Zhao's continued his run on his right foot. The cross comes in, claims for handball. Zhao's got to play to the whistle here, waiting for support. Johnson's already in the penalty area, the right back. You'd be expecting him to arrive on the right flank. It's Diskerud that is here. He mishits his cross, and the Czech Republic can escape the danger. Little arm in the back from a Roscoe on Vidra, not spotted by the referee.
but very good ball retention from Joe Zhao to hold on to it when he was under pressure. I mean, he appealed for the penalty. It would have been very, very harsh to give it against Kadlec. I think it just hit his arm. He could do nothing about it.
Kaderabek with the leap over Julian Green, and then the foul on the youngster, and it's a free kick to the United States. Let's have a look at this.
Here it is again.
Arms in line, do you think, Jim?
I mean, he's not attempting to play the ball for me. It's just hit it, and I think that his arm is in a very neutral position, so I think that's why the referee dismissed it instantly.
It was Kadlec who the ball struck.
I'll be honest with you as well. The US get another free kick through Zhao. I thought the USA by now would have been under a little more pressure, and Guzan would have been a bit busier, because Pavel Verba said that he wanted his side to attack, needs goals. They need to lift the confidence going into the European qualifying campaign, and I think the US so far look quite comfortable with the way the night is turning out.
Altidore finds Corona, drops it off to Discarud. Bedoya looking for Corona. He was almost in there. It's a desperate challenge by Kadlec. Here's Johnson again, full of purpose tonight on that right flank. Bedoya. Now Zhao. Deep across this time. Altidore was there. And he puts his hands on his head. He realises that was a very good cross in by Zhao. And it's a corner kick after the header from Prohaska.
Yeah, and Julian Green is going across to take the corner, but they're the two guys we spoke about pre-match, Arlo. And for me, Joe Zhao is having a very good night. And it was an excellent cross that Altidore almost got his head on.
Looking for his 24th international goal, Josie Altidore. This is his 72nd cap. And here's Green with the corner kick. To the near post it goes. Bedoya was there, but the Czechs smuggle the ball clear, but only as far here as Fabian Johnson. Zhao again. Excuse me, Green. And he's dispossessed this time, and now the Czechs have an opportunity on the break. Vidra. Rosicki down the left-hand side, and he stays onside. Thomas Rosicki's in here for the Czech Republic. Does he take a touch too many? The cross in the end to the back post was almost the opening goal, but Derrida with a tight angle. He couldn't put the ball away, and a smile on the face of Thomas Rosicki.
Well, as soon as Julian Green lost possession, then they were up against it. And with Rosicki in that position, you know, I thought he might open his body up and just look to slide it inside the far post. In the end, he's gone for Derrida. He was always struggling to get there, and because he's stretching and going to ground, he doesn't really have control on it, and he can't steer it where he'd like, obviously between the posts. But I think it was very unselfish on the part of Rosicki, and I think he might be regretting it.
Unselfish, or should he have shot there in that situation, Jim?
I think he should have gone for goal. I think he should have gone. He should have been a little more selfish, yeah.
Hasn't featured in the Premier League so far for Arsenal. I think he's come off the bench in the Champions League, Thomas Rosicki. Maybe a lack of match practice, match sharpness. But the Czechs looking dangerous all of a sudden.
Yeah, that was an important touch as well from Discarud. Otherwise, a similar situation to the one we've just seen could have developed.
Czech left the ball behind. And Zhao's on the scamper. Still Joe Zhao. Well, he had Bedoya and Green available on his left-hand side. Slid it down the channel to Altidore.
Just overhit it slightly, which was a shame. But again, it was very good work by Zhao. And Juracek, I don't know what he was trying to do there. He dummied himself.
He'll hear that from his teammates tonight, won't he?
But again, look at the strength of Zhao. You know, Juracek got hold of his shorts or his shirt, bottom of his shirt, and he's pulling at him, and yet it hasn't affected the youngster.
Who's been the shining light so far in an attacking sense for the United States here in Prague as we approach the final 10 minutes of the first half. Vidra, Rosicki, and away goes down the left-hand side. A player that's been very lively in the opening stages, Krejci. With Pilash Lost the ball looking for Krejci again, but Brad Guzan able to get out. He wants to get the United States underway in a counter-attack here. Further it goes towards Altidore, but he was been well marshalled by Kadlec.
Well, it was great tracking back by Diskerud as well and just trying to hold him up, and it was very important he did that. But I think if Krejci just kind of slowed his pace and then gone again, I think he might have got away from Diskerud. Instead he looked to come inside, and that's where the attack ended.
Derrida. Gets it back from Limberski. Here's Václav Prohaska again. And again, it's another diagonal that Fabian Johnson has to be aware of. Didn't connect with the header. The cross comes in, ricochets off Johnson, and it's behind for a corner kick. The second of the game for the Czech Republic.
Yeah, and I think half appeal from Limberski that it came off the arm of Johnson. Outside of the right foot. He's never going to get that.
In low to the near post. Corona was there, and the danger is averted. Kaderabek.
Yeah, it wasn't good ball in. No, that's a waste. You know, you get a set piece situation. You want to give your teammates a chance to attack something, and it wasn't good enough from Derrida.
Here's Bedoya. Corona. Bedoya again. Chandler. Green in some space. He was on the bench for Bayern Munich at the weekend. Green, cross comes in. And it's headed behind for a corner kick to the United States. Prohaska with the defending.
But I think in situations like that, Arlo, I think the US have got to gamble more from midfield. I think, you know, one or two have got to take a risk, because at the moment, when the cross comes in from either side, it's only Altidore to aim at.
Jürgen Klinsmann on the edge of his technical area, just pointing out directions. John Brooks is forward. This is decent enough service, and in the end Petr Cech has to palm it over his own crossbar for corner number 3.
Well, I'm not sure whether he was actually going for goal. Audacious if he was, but Petr Cech had to be lively.
Very crowded 6-yard box. Bedoya comes short. Green waves him off and goes to the near post, virtually along the ground, and we'll have a third opportunity here, the United States. That was something off the training ground that didn't quite come off.
No, he'll be glad he has another chance, because that wasn't one of his best, Julian Green.
Take 3.
And another that wasn't up to standard.
There's Diskerud. Altidore was there. Joud. Johnson. Orozco steps forward. Now here's Brooks. Working the ball nicely here, the United States. Chandler checks back. Here's Diskerud. Bedoya making the run down the centre. Both managers now out into their technical area.
Yeah, I mean, I would have thought the home manager, Pavel Verba, would have wanted more.
Diskerud's in here. He's picked the pocket of the Czech midfield and mixed Diskerud. It's saved. Here's an opportunity. Bedoya scores. The United States take the lead here in Prague. Vladimir Derrida stripped of the ball in the centre of the park. Diskerud strode through. Czech made the save. Bedoya made no mistake for his second international goal.
Well, it's a fashion in the modern game to play it to a midfielder like that from the goalkeeper, and if he's crowded out, then they're in big trouble. And Diskerud, for me, has done brilliant at times in getting tight to people, and he's the one pressured the situation, went through, tried to pick a spot, well read by Czech. It's a very kindly break to come Bedoya's way, but listen, he's followed it up. He could have just watched that happen. He's actually gone into the box and been positive about it, and he's got a great end result.
Bedoya started against Ghana and against Portugal and against Belgium in the World Cup finals. Plays his club football for Nantes in France. And what was that about Jürgen Klinsmann requiring a bit more bite and physicality from those two in particular, Corona and Mix Diskerud.
Mix Diskerud I've been very impressed with. He's done some sterling work in getting back and getting a foot in here and there. And that time he just read it. He knew that Czech was going to play it into a dangerous area that was just asking to be shut down, and it was superb work.
And Derrida, who was robbed of the ball, and plays his football in the Bundesliga for Freiburg. Played in central midfield at the weekend against Borussia Mönchengladbach. Fabian Johnson was on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, Czech has done well. I mean, maybe Diskerud could have placed it towards the corner more, but it's a lovely little ricochet to come right in front of Bedoya, and he was hardly going to miss that.
Well, there's a confidence growing here amongst this youthful United States side. 216 caps between them before this game. 8 of the starting 11 were in the World Cup squad. But youth is being given its chance, and Mix Diskerud, who was in Brazil, came up with the play there. Joe Zhao has been excellent in the first half so far. And all of a sudden the Czechs have a bit of a problem. So too does John Brooks, who's lying on the ground just rubbing his left knee at the moment.
Yeah, now, is this wise by Petr Cech? Because I don't think it is. He's bounced the ball into Derrida, which makes it more awkward to control. And that allowed Diskerud to spot his opportunity, and that's what it led to. Petr Cech has played his part in that.
It's very much the vogue, Jim, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Goalkeepers distributing out, but when it's awkward like that and you're facing your own goal, it's extremely dangerous, isn't it?
There are a lot of teams doing. I think it's the Barcelona model initially when Pep Guardiola was there, and Victor Valdés is so comfortable with the ball at his feet, and I think it all began then. But even when Brad Guzan was doing something similar early in the half, I was just a little nervy for the USA at that end as well. You can overdo it. You know, sometimes you just need to put your foot through the ball and get it downfield.
Altidore just cutting off the back pass there to Cech. Derrida just rebuilding his confidence. Johnson ever alert. And there's a free kick to the United States, who at the moment are winning virtually every challenge. Corona's still down on the ground. Derrida with his frustration growing here in the Generali Arena. And you have to say, Jurgen Klinsmann will be by far the happier of the two coaches so far.
Yeah, and I was just about to say to you before the goal that the one thing Jurgen Klinsmann would probably like now is just a little more oomph up front, and the Czech have helped the USA's cause hugely. But it should now, as you said, Arlo, give the USA a little more belief, and we might see some more adventure.
And there's one of those balls fizzed in from a goalkeeper, and it's an awkward one for Bedoya, but he does well. He finds Zhao, he drops it off to Diskerud. Making an excellent run down the left is Timmy Chandler. The ball floated into his instep. The quick cross is a low one. Prohaska miscues. Zhao's on the back post. Limberski gets it clear. United States asking all the questions here in the final 5 minutes of the first half in Prague. Leading by a goal to nil. Alejandro Bedoya with it. Offside flag up on the far side, and the Czech Republic can just clear their ranks. Juracek. Powerful header from Brooks. Diskerud finds Chandler.
When you think about it as well, Arlo, the best chance that the home side has had was Derrida when Rosicky fed him far post and he can't quite squeeze it in. And then he's had a big part to play in the only goal of the night.
Brooks again. John Brooks, his reaction to scoring the winning goal against Ghana was fabulous, wasn't it?
I worked on that game in the World Cup, and yeah, it just meant a little to him, didn't it?
The excitement, the disbelief.
Yeah.
It was the only half, in fact, that he played in Brazil, but it was an effective one. Little arm on the shoulder from Pilash to Brooks.
Yeah, and I mean, watching Brooks in the Bundesliga at Hertha, I think he brings a little more aggression to things. And just watching him tonight as well, for one so young, he's commanding, he's vociferous, he's always kind of organising, and I like to see that.
Johnson scampering away on the right-hand side. Diskerud, though, goes left to Corona. Johnson has continued that run towards the penalty area. Altidore just slows the pace down a little. Diskerud to Corona again. And a bit of keep ball to build the confidence even further for the United States as time ticks away in this first half. We await the ball to tell us how much stoppage time there will be. Orozco, Diskerud. There's a confidence, a swagger and energy about their work, particularly in the last 10 minutes. Corona again. Altidore. Johnson making another surging run on the right. And there will be just the 1 minute of time to add on at the end of the first 45. And at the moment, the Czech Republic can't get near the ball.
No, and possibly the most frustrated man of all in the stadium is Pavel Verba, the coach. I think he's probably thinking, oh no, not again, here we go. I mean, he's desperate to get his first win. So, you know, this just all increases the pressure on going into a huge game against the Netherlands here.
That's a little untidy from Orozco, and they've got an opportunity perhaps with a quick throw from Vidra. He just delays it, and the United States can get back and organise. Kaderabek. Jürgen Klinsmann in the bottom of your screen waving his defence out. Don't sit back on the edge of your penalty area now. Final 15 seconds of stoppage time. Kaderabek. Prohaska turns away from Altidore, working hard.
Good game management by the US. I mean, to just get in at half-time with the advantage intact.
Something perhaps that was learnt against Portugal in Manaus. And there's the half-time whistle from Istvan Vad. Very satisfactory for the United States. They've weathered one or two bits of Czech pressure, but Alejandro Bedoya capitalised on this man's mistake, Derrida, to score in the 39th minute after Diskerud had robbed the ball in the midfield, and Petr Cech made a fine save. It was his second international goal. Join Russ and Robbie at half-time. The score here in Prague, Czech Republic 0, United States 1.